Hello and welcome to JamboFANTV. We're going to try it's live, so it's no swearing garden. We're going to have a go at it and see how it goes. Hopefully, some people will tweet us some questions through on Twitter. So if you see me keep looking down, that's what I'm looking at, and see how we go. A number of frustrations on social media, garden, but it's where do we start? Shall we have a look at some of the friendly games? What's your opinions on those?
The friendly games, I actually never attended any friendly games. For what I hear that the St Pat's was pretty much a fitness exercise, as was Linfield, although obviously the Linfielding result was more encouraging. Seemingly, from what I hear, and what again I was working, the performance against Newcastle was again quite encouraging. But like I said for last season, the team like Newcastle's going to let Hearts play football. So I don't for a minute believe that we've got bad players, which obviously is a subject we'll cover later on, is how they're set up to play and what's gone wrong. But yeah, the friendlies were just, as the word suggests, absolute friendly. Just get fit over the summer.
I totally agree with you. That's the way I sort of look at them as well. There's not a lot to read into them. You know, all these people coming on and off, and you're trying people out. It's something that we didn't press on. And as you know, another love of mine in the English leagues is West Ham, and at the moment we've got somebody who's come up fitness-wise, and I actually thought brilliant. You know, we've got somebody in who got quite an unfit West Ham side fit, and I was sort of looking forward to that and waiting for it to sort of come off. But like you say, friendlies are friendlies. You sort of put players in, take them off, put a few, you know, try different systems out and see how it goes. But then I know I'm jumping quite into it because I'm sort of revved up for this one, Gordon. Then we go into our cup games. Go on, I'll hand over to you.
Yeah, well, the cup games, the first one at Elgin, again, I was working, so I actually almost went, but my mate couldn't get finished his work early enough. I kind of wish I had went up. It was I've been an advocate of summer football for a long time, so it was seemingly about 21 degrees when the game kicked off, and lovely surroundings up at Burbriggs, and it sounded like a sort of your average away Premier League team against a lower division team. We got the goal, we're very comfortable, never looked like losing one, although I do believe we survived a penalty claim in the last minute, which would have made the section even worse to look at than it was on Saturday night. Second game, East Fife totally controlled the game. Should have probably been more up at half time than what we were. And then we had an absolute monsoon at the start of the second half, which kind of levelled the game for a little bit. They looked every bit as likely to equalise for a 10-minute spell than we did to add a second. But once we had added the second, the penalty at the end was just the icing on the cake. I don't know if you want to go more into depth about Peterhead.
No, I think you summed it up perfectly. But at the end of the day, you know, maybe complacency comes into it, but at the end of the day, that group, oh God, it was probably one of the easiest groups to get through. You know, you look at it and you look at. I know that's for some teams, you know, it's like a cup final. You know, you're playing the Premiership teams and they're up for it, but there's no way that they should be competing with us on the park, and they did. And they frightened us.
Yeah, no doubt. It's probably because they're probably correct that the managers eventually, it's probably sooner rather than later now, going to take the brunt of those results. But I think at the end of the day, I should have been able to say, Jack Hamilton, you're in goals. Whoever's playing right back, whoever's playing left back, two centre halves. They should have been able to go out there and beat them regardless of my lack of tactical knowledge. If Mr. Cathrow's probably hasn't got a lack of tactical knowledge, but the 11 players out there have got to be a huge responsibility for Peterhead. Maybe probably a more tactical game occurred on Saturday there. We started off on the front foot, and then Dunfermline changed their tactics, and for the middle part of the game we couldn't handle Dunfermline, and that was really concerning on Saturday.
Exactly. I mean, we'll get on to we'll sort of have a look at it. How do you think we were set up? Because I think that's it for me. I'm seeing players. I was quite happy. I'll be upfront with you. I was seeing players come in, and we'll go on to this in a minute, because as players were coming in, it seemed like McPhee was, the driving force behind it. And where was the gaffer? You never saw his. Whenever anyone got signed, it was McPhee there. It was Ireland. It was this. Didn't see the gaffer in it anywhere. So you got this driving force, and players were coming in. And I was thinking, yeah, I can see how it's all going to be set up. And I wasn't actually unhappy with anybody. So they're players that were also adding to other players that I'm quite happy with, and you see them, and then they go out onto the pitch, and it's like they've met each other for the first time.
Yeah.
Even players that have been playing with each other, last season. Is that about being asked to do a job that you're uncomfortable with?
It kind of appears now that he's settled on a 3-4-3. He had Berra, Suter, and McGee on Saturday, with Smith on one and one wing and Brandon on the other, who I've got to say is totally exempt from any criticism. I was so impressed with Jamie Brandon on Saturday. The effort and some of his skillful contributions. He played obviously Goncalves on one wing, Lafferty through the middle, and I'm trying to remember who the 11th player was, but regardless, he was on it was Cowie. Sorry, Cowie was sort of pushing on from the middle of the park, not necessarily from the right wing, but sort of just getting beyond all the time, which was encouraging to start with. I think the game, I never turned on the incident when Goncalves had a shot at goal and clashed knees with the centre half. But looking at the size of Goncalves, I think his effect would have been minimal regardless of the game at that stage, because he looks so unfit. I don't know what your West Ham guys thinks of Goncalves, but I'll tell you what, he was wearing my shorts after 2 weeks all inclusive on Saturday. His behind was absolutely massive in those shorts. He looked like another Zefuk with probably less of a goal threat, to be fair.
Well, that's the part about it. When the fitness coach come in and you start to think, because last year we both said it, and another fan said it. There was, I'm struggling for words. I wouldn't like to think it was a lack of effort. I wouldn't like to think that players are going out there playing bad on purpose. And I don't think they do. But there was a definite fitness issue last year. When you start to play high tempo, the Aberdeen game, for instance, the last Aberdeen game at home, where I was coming back in the car and it had that rant, and their fitness level, it showed us up. And I just thought in coming in, and you've got players coming up, coming into the side from the Championship, and that's quite a competitive league. And I thought we'll be up for this, and they've had this summer to sort of get people. And like you say, you've got some fat ass bloody striker coming out, and you're just thinking, what have you been doing? What's the preparation here? And like you said, he's not the biggest of lads, so you think he'd actually work at the other part of his game, which is going to have to be his fitness, running the legs off people, but don't see it.
No, like I say, he started the game well. There was 2 or 3 times. I think it was June was the main inspiration for. He sent him down the left wing 2 or 3 times. He sent Michael Smith down the left wing, and Goncalves, like I say, after his wee knock, he was like half the player he was. But I say whether he could have even kept up the pace that he'd started at due to his lack of fitness. that's up for speculation. And I don't think Dunfermline started to read that we were going down the left-hand side. And we didn't stop trying to go down the left-hand side, so they started to read what we were doing, and they started to get to play themselves. And like I say, after we scored, which was a well-worked goal, I must admit I was screaming at Lafferty to shoot, because I thought the defender had already committed himself to start going towards Cowie, and Cowie did tremendously well to take that strike first time into the keeper's right-hand corner. And I thought, yeah, we're probably going to go on and dominate the game from now on. But no, it was total opposite. We let them back in it.
Yeah, just schoolboy errors. But I think letting them back into it was, again, you set up. I don't particularly like three at the back. I'm very old-fashioned, I know I am. But if you're going to play three at the back, you've got to be fit, and your midfield have to be organised, because it's a system for me. You know, like I say, I'll go back, and it's JamboFANTV, so you have to forgive me. I'll go back to West Ham play three at the back, and you've got to be fit. You've got to be able. That midfield has to be able to attack, and it's also got to be able to fill them gaps which are there at the back. They are there when if teams will hit you on the break. The gaps appear when people are coming forward, and it's got to be able to slide around. And you need players to be fit for that. Not just organised, but you need players to be fit. One or two passes on Saturday, and they were within shooting distance of the net. It was embarrassing.
Yeah, like you say, the three at the back left us. And the start of the second half, I think, and genuinely believe, and it did happen as it happened. You could see the start of the second half. Dunfermline had come out expecting probably at that stage to get a second goal, and once they went 2-1 up, they probably thought that would kill us off. And as it turned out, until the last 10 minutes, when Dunfermline started to retreat a bit themselves, we didn't dominate the game at all. How many times did, as a consequence of three at the back, they played a 1-2, which sent the right back in behind Michael Smith? I don't know how many times. I didn't really want to get a Michael Smith because it's the first time I've seen him, but he's probably not a natural left-sided player for a start, and he was totally left exposed out there the way we were set up. And Dunfermline knew they could get in the back of him time and time again. They did it.
But it's just, I mean, it's for me again. I mean, we're two lads who pay our money and watch the game, and there were many more thousands there that could see these gaps. You could see, it was almost like you could predicting what we were doing. So you can predict it, and then nothing's changing. You know, basically we just sort of plod on doing the same things, and you can see confusion. You can see players sort of looking around, and the crowd's on the back, and surely at some point he's got to do something different. And that's one of the things that we'll talk about in a bit, because I know that people want us to talk about the gaffer. But it's just that lack of plan B.
Yeah, the most incredible thing for me on Saturday was the concession of the second goal. Rightly or wrongly, Souters probably cost us a goal. We slip. And we were probably screaming for it, like you said 5 minutes ago, a flat back four at that stage. And he just continued with the pre-planned substitution in Novak on for Souter to remain at three at the back. Although Novak, as it turned out, probably played slightly advanced to the back three, or the other two centre halves. But it was a pre-planned sub, and we were crying out for four at the back because we were getting torn apart. The guys got the Cardle coming down the left wing, and like I say, the right back overlapping on the right was creating. They were getting in behind so many times. It was incredible. Although they probably clutching at straws, they never forced Jack Hamilton in any really hard work. I don't think there wasn't a case of their midfield really pushing forward. They probably, on another day, if Dunfermline wanted to, had they been behind, they probably would have got themselves back into the game quite comfortably by pushing forward a little bit more.
Yeah. And opportunity missed, really. Like I said, it's a group that was winnable, a massive opportunity missed, and I know what the next game sort of coming up. The massive difference between skill sets between the two sides. So God knows how we're going to get on there, but we'll talk about that in a bit. I've got a question for you, right? And it's come through on Twitter. See what you. I know what my answer to this is, but we'll let you go first. It's from Brian Reed. It's at Brian. Sorry, it's at Reed Brian Reed 1, and he's saying that basically Castro will get sacked sooner or later, but you know there are other people that put him in place. There are other questions about people who are putting him in place, and they need to answer. They need to answer for a lot. What do you think about that?
I take it we're talking Craig Levein here.
We are indeed.
Well, as I've said to you, I think I said to you on our very early shows actually, Craig Levein was absolutely my hero as a player. But I think from later on in Robbie Nielsen's tenure, right through Cathro's tenure, they're kind of like a Levein team all over. It's about maybe getting the first goal and hanging on to games. It was how I perceived Craig as a manager the first time round, and I think there's a lot of that in the way the current team is set up. If we do get in front, we never seem to go for a second, which was always a trait of Craig Levein's teams for me. He was always quite happy to draw 0-0 away from home, which is, you see our away record as it stands at the moment. So yeah, I think it's certainly a problem for someone who comes in is either trying to convince Craig to take a complete backseat, or whether the full regime has to go, and Craig's included. It falls on his sword as well, because it's not working with. If he has got anything to do with the team, it's not working. If he hasn't got anything to do with the team, it's not working. But yeah, they've certainly got traits that Craig Levein showed as a manager in their team. I mean, the famous 4-6-0 with Scotland. Well, I think he probably got over-criticised with that, because he did play a couple of attacking players in wide of the six midfielders, in the hope that we could hit the checks on the break that night. But he's the sort of guy who never admits he's got anything wrong. So it's not going to change. There's going to be a manager with an enormous strength of character that's going to come in and either convince Craig to change his ways, or Craig's going to have to go as well.
Well, yeah, it's going to be a difficult one. My take on it is fantastic work being done at a club that was under severe financial pressure. Fantastic management behind the scenes, and fans. You know, everyone's chipped in, everyone's done their bit, and you see all that pulled together. You see survival, you see the stand going up, you see a club getting stronger. But like you said, we're getting it wrong on the pitch. And for me, last year, the mark of the man, he puts and it is a he puts a young coach with potential into a position. For whatever reason, which we'll discuss in a bit, we start to lose matches. Results aren't going our way, and he hides, and he hid, and he let a lot of flack come that young manager's way. Didn't come out, didn't say anything. Everybody knew that it was his appointment, and he could have took some heat off him. But I don't think he'll go. I don't think anything will happen, because I think he's got the ear of those people in the club that matter. And I'm not talking about fans, I'm talking about managers, business managers. And I think that's where he sort of fits in. I think he'll ride this and he'll survive it. But I think his influence will continue to erode the playing style that Hearts play. Is that a fair reflection, or am I being unkind?
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. The team definitely reflects some of the things I remember first time round with Craig. There was teams that we hammered. Memorably, we hammered Hibs 5-1 when he was the manager. It was probably sort of similar to what Cathro did to Rangers in February there. I think it was January, February. These games they're few and far between the way Hearts are set up now. And I agree with you. I think Craig's definitely got an influence on how we're set up, and he's got a manager that he thinks along the same lines as him. And I think that was totally intentional when he did. And yeah, right, he absolutely had, because when things were going well, he was all over Twitter taking credit and saying that things of the future's bright, the future's moving away, etc. It's yeah, and his absence from Twitter since things started to go pear-shaped after the winter break, his silence is definite. I have heard that he's no happy with things going on just now. That's probably a wee bit too late, actually, a wee bit too little too late. As far as Cathro's concerned, I don't think Cathro's getting the fans back, regardless of what happens. We'll give him Saturday if he's still there, because Celtic's a free shot. Celtic's always a free shot in Glasgow. But if things start to go wrong at any stage of the Kilmarnock game, he's going to hear it for the stands. I think the fans are totally disgruntled. For the first time ever, I'm not allowed to swear, like you said earlier on. It was serious Cathro get to the F word on Saturday, coming from the Section G. Who have to say, actually, while I'm on that subject, the lads in Section G were absolutely fantastic on Saturday. I'm a grumpy old man in the football, but they were making a noise. They had the drum, they sang all the way through the game, so all credit to them for sticking with the team when things weren't going well on Saturday, and I hope that continues throughout the season.
Good on them, good on them. Well, we're on it now. It's the elephant in the room. We've skirted around it with results and talking about players, and we've skirted around it. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. Now, I put something up on Twitter, and it was after to remind people, it was after the Aberdeen game. When I actually came out and said, I've had enough now. I've seen enough. And Anthony, when Scott was on with us, I spoke about coaches, good coaches, and you have to forgive me, I'm coming back down into the English leagues now. Good coaches that coach really well and then became managers. So I'm talking about your McLarens and your Brian Kidds and people thought they were getting a right deal. We're getting Brian Kidd, or we're getting, he's done this at United, we're and then they go and it all falls. And I've said it time and time again, good coaches don't automatically make good managers. And when our gaffer came, I was quite optimistic. I was thinking, he's got this pedigree. People, he's seen a lot of people round and about with different techniques, and he's obviously quite well respected round about. He gets his jobs and he's coached some decent players. So he comes in, and I haven't seen anything. Where I'm thinking, tactically, you're a genius, or tactically, you can change things. Tactically, and fair enough, you can say actually he got stuck with some players for the first season, but he's starting to get his in now, and I don't see it. I then go on to say, I see him in front of the camera. I think last season, when I was on that rant coming back through the borders on the way to Yorkshire, I described him as a wet handshake. And that's it. He's not inspiring me. I hear him after the games, and he's there and he's Mac with nothing about him. He's just nothing there. And like I said, he went missing when we're signing players. And where is he? He's not even in the papers with them. He has nothing. He has nothing to say. And I just wonder. And I'm not in the changing rooms. But God, if he performs like he does in front of the camera, and he's in that changing room, would he inspire me to do something different? No. And is he that football educated that he's pontificating and saying, you know, I could just, God, you have to forgive me, because this is turning into a rant, God. And I can imagine him with his little Subbuteo players explaining the techniques of this master's PhD level football to people, lads looking at it thinking, what the bloody hell do you want from me? And that's how it comes out when they're out there, because they're thinking, God, what was he saying to me? You know, and you can see them thinking about it. And at that time, there's gaps opening up behind them. And it is, I don't get him. I don't get him. And I don't want him. I think that's what, and I said it last year. And a question that I'll put to you, Gordon, you can have your say on Cathro in a minute, but could we, as a club, after the directors have met, could we as a club afford to get rid of Cathro?
I think a better question, as I read on Kickbase, is can we afford not to get rid of Cathro the way things are going at the moment? If things keep going the direction they're going, like you said earlier, he was left with some of the players. And don't get me wrong, Robbie Nielsen signed some absolute honking players as well, and Cathro was left with those from Robbie left. But he got himself a team that he and Austin McPhee, whoever was responsible for the recruitment, kind of wanted the second half. Probably wasn't popular with the fans because, like I said again in another show, we hadn't seen what happened to Hibs when they brought in guys for 6 months that didn't care about their team. And these guys knew they were just going to be here for 6 months. So effectively, this, as you said, this is his team now, which wasn't good enough to get us through a section with 3 part-time teams and a mid-table championship side. He managed to. You talk about Craig Levein hiding. I think that Cathro got away with an awful lot of people, because there was an acceptance that these guys were here just for the money and to get fit for 4 months, and that wasn't the manager's fault. But I think throughout this League Cup section, that this has been the manager's fault, and because there's no sign of it getting better, then now people are starting to go back to the second half of last season and saying, well, maybe it wasn't quite the players' fault as much as they thought it was, and Cathro probably got an easy ride through that period. But now we're at a stage where he's won 8 games in 30, including an extra time win against a team that got relegated to the Championship, and he's had 8 games also against lower division opposition, and only won 2, I think it is, in 90 minutes. But it's just, it's completely unacceptable to send the Hearts team out and achieve those results for me. And like you say, he's a coach. He always wanted to be. He clearly always wanted to be a manager, because I think Newcastle would have been quite happy for him to stay and knock Hearts back. So this was him achieving his ambition, getting his hands on we are a big club in a Scottish sense, and he's just shown that. Well, I believe he's shown that he hasn't got it. Certainly not at this stage. And you say he's so uninspiring and so baffling to a guy who. Well, let's be honest. I'm not sure how many players are academics. You say they're digesting something he's saying in the dressing room, and they're probably missing a more valid point that's coming up by trying to get their head around what he's just said. For me, if he wants to be a coach, by all means be a coach. Make yourself a good living in football, Ian. There's no reason not to wish him all the best, but this has failed miserably for me, Scott, as well. And he's a football manager in charge of the team now.
We do indeed, and I think I wish him all the best. I mean, I'm not going to wish him any harm. It's something that's been tried. It's failed. Like I said, fantastic fans at this club, fans that put their hands in the pockets and continue to do so to make sure that that it's successful. And I think to not listen to the majority would be crazy. I can't see any arguments put forward to say that things are going to get better in the future, because there's just no foundation there, in my mind anyway, for him to build on. And the sooner it's done, the better. And then we get somebody in. And I'll go back to one of our other points before. Whoever comes in needs to get up to that boardroom and just say, you need to shut your mouth, and you need to butt out, because your role in this club is this, and my role in this club is this, and that's what it needs. It needs somebody to come in. Now, here we go, Gordon. Put you on the back foot here. You know what's coming. If you could, so you're holding the purse strings here, and you've sacked him, and you need to get somebody in. Who would it be?
Well, I walked out on Saturday kidding people on that the management team in the opposition dugout, Alan Johnston and Sandy Clark, have got good Hearts history, and we'd be obviously, and well, I think without a shadow of doubt, we'd be a step up on Dunfermline. Alan Johnston didn't do well at Kilmarnock, but I don't think there's a manager who could say he has done well at Kilmarnock in recent times, because they have got their off-field issues, which may well be resolved with Michael Johnson leaving. But for me, it wouldn't be a popular appointment, but he has worked with Levine before. He was his captain. I would like to see. Well, I don't know, like to see, but I think I would approach Stephen Presley. He's a sort of man. He certainly wouldn't take anything less than 100% effort from his team. That's for sure. They would certainly know about it if they came into his dressing room and he felt he hadn't given them everything he's got out there. Further down the line for that, I have always believed that Hartley was going to be a good manager through his time with Alloa and his initial time at Dundee, although his last season didn't go quite to plan up at the end. But they did lose their two main striking threats at the start of last season, and he's seriously struggled to replace them. So that push, first choice would probably be Presley, then Hartley, but then I would certainly back Alan Johnson and Sandy Clark as well if they were ever approached, because I love Big Sandy. I wouldn't want to go into Sandy's dressing room, not having given everything I've got as well. And in the time that he was there, he did introduce kids. He introduced Johnston. He introduced Locke to the first team. Guys like Kevin Thomas, who was a massive prospect until he did his knee in, and Tommy McLean actually left him on the park with a bus cruciate ligament, which I'm sure seriously affected Kevin Thomas's career in the long run. But yeah, Presley first. Presley didn't fancy the job, Hartley, and then from there, I'm sure there'll be no shortage of applicants, but that's the question answered. Whether that's popular or not, because I know a lot of people don't like Presley because of what he did when he was a Celtic player, but for me that's long forgotten. Just want a good manager at Tynecastle.
Oh, that's it. I mean, at the end of the day, whoever comes in, well, I believe, the king's not dead, is he? He's still on the throne, but hypothetically, I don't think he'll survive. When somebody comes in, they're coming in, like I said, they're coming into a well-run club that sold its season tickets out this season. Good away support, and there's not sniping, Gordon, but there's clubs in this league that have let the club die rather than put their hand in the pocket, and that didn't happen in Edinburgh. So it's a fantastic club to come to, and I'd back you with everybody that you said. But I put on Twitter, I'd have a look at the Fleetwood manager, Rosler, who's done fantastic in that league, and he's a big character. And I think somebody of that stature would be able to, like I say, go up to the backroom staff and say, "You shut your mouth. This is my job." I'd hate for somebody to come in who was an ex-captain who would think that he owed him something, was a bit of a puppet manager. But at the end of the day, for me, whoever comes in, and whether Cathro stays, I'm old-fashioned. I want players to be able to give it everything on the pitch. I want them to be given a fair chance, first of all, understanding the tactics that they've been given, and understand the job that they've got to do. But at the end of the day, just run your socks off. It's not a complicated game. Just run your socks off, close people down, take your chances, love your fans, don't take the piss out of us. At the end of the day, these people go further for a game than I do, and they turn up and they spend the money, and you need to start listening to what's going on. Have you got anything else to add, Gordon?
No, not really. No, it's we've probably let them off quite lightly tonight, and then the whole. Yeah, no, the way I felt on Saturday, probably just as well. I certainly wouldn't have been able to come on before the watershed. That's for sure on Saturday night.
It's been quite therapeutic. This, I feel quite relaxed now that I've let all that.
I'm sure anybody that knows me that's watching is going to bombard me with Stephen Presley. You kidding me on? but to me, he's a strong character. Like you say, I don't think Presley will feel that he was living in for making him captain all those years ago. But I think Presley's a strong character, and I think people. Actually, a name I didn't mention was Tommy Wright. I just don't know if Tommy Wright is and Hearts go together personality wise. I wonder if he'd be another Tommy McLean who come in and he wasn't popular with the fans because he was just a grumpy old bugger, to be quite honest with you. He just. However, whoever we get, and like say whether if Cathro remains in charge for the foreseeable, yeah, we're definitely still by the team. 14,000 season tickets, like saying. Hopefully Celtic actually go to Rosenborg on Wednesday night, have a 0-0 draw, an extra 30 minutes, a couple of dead legs, and a delayed plane ride home, and then they play us at lunchtime on Saturday. So we'll maybe be able to keep it down to 5 or something.
Well, yeah, we've got to watch that space in behind us. Right, just while we're on, me and Gordon, we have a laugh on here, and we're always looking for people to come on. Now it's JamboFANTV. We need fans on. We need, just direct message us. If you see us at games, come and see us. We need people to come on, and also if that's not your thing, we've been trying and blogging it to death. There's if you've got something to say, just pick your phone up, say it. 30 seconds. Email at us. We can put a show together. And it's something that we're trying to do. We're trying to put out there. Now, there's some brilliant stuff on here. Your Monday Night Football, with your podcasts. You got your forums with your kickback. 101 people on here do some brilliant stuff, and we're just trying to do something a bit different, which is more interactive. As in, if you think Cathro should stay and you can come up with a good argument for it, I said, everyone's got a phone. Just pick it up. Give us 30, 60 seconds and email it to us. We'll put it together. We're not going to make you look a fool. We're not going to edit it. We'll put it together. As you can tell from the accent, I live in England, and there are 101 shows down here that do the same kind of thing, but they get fan input, and we'll keep plodding away at it. Don't be shy. It's so once you've done it, they're like karaoke. You'll never put that mic down. You'll just want to keep doing it and doing it. Feed into us this season if you can. We'd really appreciate it. So we've been JamboFANTV. Thank you. This has been our first.
Before you go, Scott,
Yeah.
Scott's show's called Monday Night Football. I know you're going to struggle with that that pronunciation. It's FITBA, the Scottish word for football. And yeah, it's a good listen, Scott's show. So I would tune into that. It's on Radio Saltire, I think at 10 o'clock tonight. Maybe it was before that. Forgive me, Scott, if I'm wrong. But Monday Night Football, you'll get it on the podcast, and it's a good listen.
It is. It's fantastic, and it's good. And we've had one of the lads on it. You know, with the Hibs away fans. He came on. Like I said, 101 stuff like that. But try and feed into us. And at the end of the day, it's all about getting information to fans, having a laugh. Because at the moment there ain't a lot to laugh about. We've been JamboFANTV. Thank you for supporting us, and thank you for all the viewers that have been watching us live. Speak to you again soon.